Hi, this is Luke. So, I just had a really great conversation with my parents, well, with my dad and my uncle. I told them that, hey, I need somebody to proofread this paper, yada yada yada. It's about transgender stuff, so if you can just look at it for grammatical errors and composition, and then we can talk about the content and yada yada yada. And we started talking, and my dad asked me, so did you already have this big meeting at work? And I'm like, oh yeah, that was on Monday. And he was talking about my coming out. And my uncle's like, coming out meeting, is that the right words? And I'm like, yeah, that's right. They're learning vocabulary. And so typically the conversations with my dad and my uncle mostly involved them thinking that I'm ill and I need to get help and all these other things. And in this conversation, you know what? I talked to them like they were just an average Joe. I was happy and excited, and I told them, yeah, the meeting went great. The regional manager was there, and my general manager was there, and the PR rep from St. Louis was there, and they talked about how Panera Bread. I work at Panera Bread. It's a good company. And they talked about how Panera Bread is an inclusive corporation, and they accept people from all walks of life as customers and employees, and that they fully support me and what I'm doing, and they have a non-discrimination law within Panera Bread, and that I am, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm fully accepted, and I get to use the men's bathroom because that is what the PR rep said was because that is appropriate. And from here on out, my name is Luke, and I will be referred to as male pronouns when being referred to a third party, and that was awesome. So I was excited about it because it was awesome, and I was completely. I didn't let myself think about what their reaction to it was going to be. I just talked because I was happy and excited about it. And instead of freaking out at me or like even giving a little bit of tone of voice that said they didn't approve, they're like, well, that's fine. And I think my dad and my uncle are finally coming along. I'm so happy. Woo! Oh, and so I gave them a clause, because at the bottom of this article, I wrote an article about Brandon Teena. I had to, look at Brandon Teena's life and figure out, what his defense structures were and what, diagnosis he has and what treatment I would suggest. Well, first of all, I didn't diagnose his sexual identity disorder because I don't see being trans as a disorder. I mean, I know doctors say you have to, do that, but it's not a disorder to me. It's just somebody that happens to be in the wrong body at the wrong time, and they fix it. So it's not a disorder to me. So instead, I looked at his codependence and his lying. And I said that those things were a result of him not being able to feel fully comfortable with his identity. Because he wasn't male. He was trans male. And he was afraid to identify himself as trans because he felt like he was going to get rejected. Well, one of the reasons he felt like he was going to get rejected is because his mother and his sister, his only living relatives, or only close living relatives, didn't accept his transness. They thought something was wrong with him. They kept sabotaging his relationships. He would date these girls with them thinking that he's a guy, and they just never had sex. Or if they did, he used a strap on and kept his clothes on. So he never actually confessed to anybody that he's trans. He presented as fully male, which you know what he's entitled to do. However, his reasoning for doing it, in my opinion, from my research, was that because his mother and his sister did not accept him, he sought out acceptance from others. And the only way to get that acceptance was to hide his trans self from people, because obviously if his mother and his sister couldn't accept him as a female choosing to be male, be a trans male, if his family couldn't accept him as a trans male, nobody else could. So he had to present as just male. And if his family had accepted him, would he have still felt the need to run away to Fall City and end up getting killed because somebody found out he was lying to them. I don't think he was lying. He was entitled to do what he was. So I blamed his environment and the interactions with his family as a result of his death. So on the very bottom of my essay, I had made a comment that I can't help but wonder that had his family been more accepting, would he have still made the same decisions he would have? Had they been more accepting, would he have still lived life on the outskirts, hiding in the shadows, and you know, just he would change groups of friends after a certain period of time to keep them from finding the truth. And so had his family been accepting, had he felt comfortable enough to openly be a trans male like I am, would he have still gone to Fall City? And if he would he have still, you know, not admitted to people what his true identity was, which is trans male? He wasn't female, he was trans male. Would he have still been killed if his mother and his sister would have been accepting of him? So I told my dad and my uncle, now this is what I said about this person. This is what I said. This is not me trying to give you guys a hidden message, because I don't play those games. I love you and accept you for who you are, Dad and Uncle, and I understand that you have your own thing going on, and I'm not saying anything about how you treat me. I love you exactly how you are, and I understand that you are going through a process, and I don't judge you for that. And they said, oh, well, okay then. We'll read it and tell you what we think. And, man, great day. Great day. Got the essay done. And then, oh, also this, I don't know if you can see this. Hang on. This is my, my new wheelchair. I am going to be Professor Xavier for Comic-Con in Seattle. So you'll see me there, but with a shaved head, wearing a suit, rolling around in my little gangsta wheels. So if you go to Comic-Con, you can meet me. Just don't stalk me or threaten to kill me or tell me you want to have my babies, because that's just really creepy. Just don't be creepy. But if you recognize me, you can say, hey, Luke, what up? So, okay. Bye.